Okay, let's meet with Remy. Ding dong. That must be him. Welcome. Remy, what's that on your face? Don't you know what this is? Well, it looks like lipstick, but I didn't know that was a thing here. You're right, it is lipstick. It's not something that existed in this world before, though. Okay, how did you get some then? I have one of your PDAs, remember? I studied it a bit and came across the entry on lipstick. Based on the necessary ingredients, I realised I could make some myself, and so I did. Okay, did you do it to look pretty for me? I just figured you miss these kinds of things that are normal for you. It hasn't really been normal back at home in a while. Lipstick isn't common these days. Didn't the entry specify that it's typically used by females? Now that you mention it, I did get that impression, but I found the sentiment a bit puzzling. Why would a product like this only be used by one gender? Okay, well, I guess social norms dictated that certain traits are only desirable in one gender, thus highlighting them like this would increase the attractiveness. Okay, I get it now. It's all based on sexual dimorphism. The biological differences between the sexes are much greater in your species than it is in ours, so I suppose the traits you're looking for can be different too. Generally speaking, sexual dimorphism is much greater in mammals than it is in reptiles. While it can vary wildly by species, external indicators are pretty much always present, like mammaries for example, an always present and often obvious reminder. This makes so much more sense now, it's kind of embarrassing. Should I get rid of it? I don't want to hurt his feelings. You don't have to. Whatever floats your boat, my dude. Okay, leave it on. It's not as if people here would know about its history. I suppose that's true. Besides, the thing about females wearing it isn't really a hard rule, and there are males who do it too. Anyone can wear it if they want to, really. Okay, if you say so. Still, it's kind of uncomfortable. I think I'd rather take it off. Uncomfortable. I suppose it's not really suited for our scales. Okay, off. Gone. That should do it. Shall we go then? Actually, it seems pretty early. They're probably still setting up. Okay, well, we could just stay here in the meantime. For sure. I just realised I haven't actually been in here since I prepared the apartment for you. Have you read any of the books I got you? Oh, so you're the one who stocked the bookshelf. They're all library books. I wanted to provide you with a good sample of what we have to offer, so there should be something in there for anyone. Looks like you read a few books in the Sheridan series. They're pretty interesting, or I wasn't in the mood for anything more complex. Interesting. Really? I know they're not exactly highbrow, but they're entertaining, and what more do you want a book to be? I guess we all have our own tastes. Can I offer you some food and drink? I've barely used any of the stuff in the kitchen. Okay, why not? I didn't want to touch anything that didn't at least resemble something I know. After all, I've got no idea how to prepare them right, or even know if they're safe for me to eat. Maybe it wasn't such a good idea to get you all those perishables then. I wanted to provide you with a bit of everything, considering I had to prepare the apartment for someone I didn't really know anything about. Yeah, some of them are good. It's interesting to taste the subtle and sometimes not so subtle differences in the similar fruits we have back home. Did you throw anything out? Not really. Why'd you ask? You've been here for nearly 2 weeks now, so even if some of them were safe for you to eat, they probably aren't anymore. Let me clean out your closet. We don't want to have any health hazards for you here after all. Okay, feel free. Okay, look at this. He showed me a juicy looking vaguely spherical fruit whose bright red colour was unlike any other fruit I'd ever seen. That's very bright red. I don't think even our best apples could compare to that. Well, they're usually blue. Red means you're supposed to throw them away, as they've expired by then and toxins might have already set in. Okay, well, I wasn't planning on eating that one anyway. Okay, oh, this one, which is mouldy. Yeah, I don't see any mould. Don't you see all these spots? Sure, but if that's supposed to be mould, it looks very different to the mould we have back home. Okay. Maybe it wasn't such a good idea to stock up on perishables. I didn't consider all the implications of doing something like this. Have you eaten the wrong thing? You could be in hospital right now. Don't worry about it. Honestly, someone have to be pretty reckless to just go ahead and start munching on things they don't know about. If anyone was smart enough to be sent here, they probably wouldn't take a risk like that. Well, good to hear it. Nevertheless, I better get rid of everything that's past its date. We don't really want the mould in the air either. Okay, if you say so. Once more, he dove into the closet. I heard him rummaging around as he checked the fruits and vegetables thoroughly. That should be everything. Cheers, my dude. I bet the wine didn't go bad though. Do you want some? I'm not a big fan of wine. Okay, how come? I just can't enjoy it as some others do. I suppose I'm willing to try anything at least once though. Anything? Well, at least as far as food and drinks are concerned. Let's try some together then. Go on. If you want. Let's do it. What kind of wine is this anyway? I'm not sure. I just grabbed it when I got the other stuff. Don't tell me you just went for the cheapest one. Of course not. Everyone knows that you don't just buy the cheapest stuff. You go for the second cheapest. That's probably a fair way to do it. What kind of container should I get for you anyway? We're having wine, so let's go for wine glasses. The stem actually makes it possible for me to grip it with my vestigial thumb, so there shouldn't be any problems. Cool. Pour them drinks out, here you go. What should we drink to? A wonderful friendship, go on. Okay, to a wonderful friendship. This guy's poured his heart out to me, come on, this isn't... We gotta support this guy. I took a sip from my wine glass. Remy really hadn't been kidding about getting the second cheapest bottle, because that was exactly what it tasted like. Don't be a snob. How'd you like it? It must be an acquired taste, I think. How about you? It's bad. I'm not surprised that you don't like it either. Maybe I should buy the third cheapest next time. Okay. Look at the time. I think we should start heading out for the festival now. Okay, let's go. This is strange. Usually there'd be a crowd by now. Do you think they cancelled it? With Reza still out there, maybe they thought it wasn't a good idea to have a public spectacle like this. Cancel the summer festival? Inconceivable. It doesn't really look like a festival's going on right now though. I don't know what's going on. Yo, I know this guy. Let's go ask him. Oh, it's Zhang. How can I help? We were just planning to go to the festival, but it doesn't seem like there's a lot going on at the minute. You came to the right place, but the festival's not starting on for another hour at least. What? But the festival's always started at this time. Must have missed the memo then. They moved it by an hour. Something about the daylight and making the fireworks more visible as a result. That's a shame. And I'm getting hungry as well. I can help you with that. Zhong's on the case. What have you got? Skewers, meatballs, all kinds of grilled things really. Okay, I want some meatballs. How about you? Veggie, just some grilled cheese. Yep, same. Give me them meatballs. Just let me pack this up for you. I guess this makes us the first customers of the day. What do I owe you? For you two, it's free. Very kind. Thank you. Have fun at the festival. Cheers, cheers. Okay, what do we do now? Do we go back? Well, we're already here and we've got all this stuff. Let's just sit down somewhere. We went off to the side as more dragons arrived and started setting up their various booths. Okay, how are your meatballs? They're actually pretty good. How about your stuff? It's great, I'm surprised, honestly. You never know with stuff that comes out of food carts. You're right, maybe we got lucky. Or maybe it's because it's fresh. Who knows? What was that about fireworks though? Is the big show coming up later? Oh no, the festival's just getting started, but there are fireworks every day. But the big show is what everyone wants to see. That one is happening in a few days from now and officially concludes the festivities. A while later, the festival kicked off and the crowds were really coming in. Dragons of all shapes and colours filled the paths, ready to see the sights that the festival had to offer. Booths lined both sides of the way. It reminded me a lot of a typical carnival setup, with the booths being filled with shops, food stands, games and much more. Seems like the festival has already started. Let's go have a look. You know what? How about we just stay here? I don't really like the crowds. I've seen the festival so many times already. I'd rather just stay here with you. I thought you wanted to show me around, but I suppose we can just stay here if you prefer that. The main attraction is always the big fireworks at the end of the festival, and that one's not going to happen today anyway. Okay, so why do we need to come here in the first place then? Is something wrong? I just had to realise that as nice as it is right now, you'll have to leave the world again eventually. I've been alone for such a long time now, I don't have a single friend. In my job, I always have to smile when serving the customers. How could I be surrounded by people all the time, yet feel so alone? All those people have their own lives, families, friends and relationships. Yeah, I've got none of that. In a world where everyone else seems to be happy, I was the odd one out, and had to pretend in order to belong. How could that not have eaten away at me day after day? Yet one day, I heard about the plans the humans come in here. Like many others, I was very excited at the prospect of our myths coming true. And then the day came when Reza stepped through the portal. Amidst all the pomp and fanfare you could imagine, it was quite the sight to behold, really. You wouldn't believe how much joy I felt during that moment. Emma, of course, took all the limelight she could. First there was a big speech in front of a huge crowd, and then a procession after she had officially welcomed Reza. When it was time for you to arrive, it was decided that it wouldn't be a public event this time due to security concerns. I knew that Emma wasn't going to be there if she wasn't able to make it all about herself. I begged her to let me do it, Just to be able to get this close to a human at least once, to talk with them and see what they were like, to experience them. She told me that if I did a few favours for her, I could be the one to greet you. I knew that she wasn't going to be there anyway, but if I didn't do what she wanted, she would just send some other lackey instead, so I did everything that she asked for. She did keep her word though, and in the end, I was the one who could introduce you to this little world of ours. It might not have seemed like much to you, but with just the two of us and no one else being there, it was something very special for me. It was not just some public spectacle like the summer festival or Reza's arrival, but for the first time in so long, I felt like that moment was about you and me and no one else. For someone in my position, it just made me very happy to have such an extraordinary thing happen to me. Of course, I was very curious to see how much of our myths would line up with reality, and I was even more overjoyed when you visited me in the library. When you accepted my invitation and came into my home, I was just glad to have you there. It seemed like you wanted to be there, and weren't just someone out to use me in some way. I began to feel hope. This guy's laying himself bare. When I met you in the park, I think the only reason I could tell you everything about myself was because I knew you were going to leave again eventually. And now, after all of this, I can hardly believe that you're still here with me. Okay, why wouldn't I be? You're just nice to me. Yet, even after all this time I got to spend with you, it seems that soon I'll have to let you go again. At least I got to know you. And thanks to you, I was also able to reconnect with the Dean. Now it just seems so petty not to have spoken with her for such a long time. All those times when I felt alone and depressed, I really was only a phone call away from someone who still cared about me. But now that you have, this also means that your worst times are over. You're not alone anymore. This is true. To some people, it may not matter much if they have one more friend or less, but you know what makes the biggest difference? Having one when you didn't used to. We even went to the orphanage together some time ago to help with the kids there. It seems one of them has taken quite a liking to me. That sounds nice. Her name is Vara and she... Oh, I remember her. You know about her then. It's such a sad story. But enough about me. What will you do once you get back to your own world again? I don't know. I don't even know what will happen to me when I return. These last few days, a lot of things have happened that have changed my perspective on what I'm doing here, Reza and those who sent me. Is that a bad thing? I don't know yet. At the very least though, I can say that I've done what I believed was right. You should be careful with rhetoric like that. What do you mean? That kind of talk makes it very easy to justify any means when it serves the right cause, whatever that may be. The more important thing is, have you done anything that you might regret? No matter what you think, keep in mind that you may be held accountable for your actions by others or even yourself. Don't just do something because you think it's for the right reasons. Do it when you are aware of the possible consequences as well. That's a good idea. I've got no way of knowing what my actions here will amount to once I return. Do you really want to go back to your own world? If I didn't, it would only serve to strain the relationship we've been trying to build with your people here, which is something that could be elementary to our survival. Besides, I didn't do it for those who reign over the city back home, or those who wanted to betray me. Let's not forget that even under the worst regimes, there are just normal people trying to survive as well. If I have the power to make a difference for them, would it be right for me to just leave them in order to seek my own happiness? That's exactly the kind of thing you're talking about, right? In the end, everyone's got to make their own decisions. If I leave them behind, I'll leave them to people like Reza and those who sent me here. What do you want to do? Overthrow them? I don't even have the complete picture of myself right now. How could I even consider what to do, given what I know? What I do know, though, is that if I don't do what they expect of me, there will be consequences. Maybe we'll just have to wait and see. That's not an option right now. Reza's out there, armed and dangerous. Don't you think that's a matter better left to the police force? It could be very dangerous for you to interfere. It's too late to reconsider. I've already been tangled up in this too much. Besides, I can't stop now. Don't forget how many he's killed already. He won't hesitate to do so again in order to reach his goal. In the end, it's my duty to stop him. If I don't, how would your people look at humanity? How could I face you again, know that my negligence could cause suffering and loss for others here if I just stop now? I wish I could be as brave as you. Don't think bravery has anything to do with it. He must be stopped one way or the other. I know, just be careful, alright? I'll try. We've been here for a while now. How about I walk you back to your apartment? Okay, what about the festival? Well, if you still want to go, we could watch the big fireworks show together in a few days. That's an idea. Okay, let's do that then. I watched Remy as he got up again, stretching himself in a way that reminded me of a cat before we prepared to leave again. Oh, you're still here. How's business going? As expected, people always get hungry at these events eventually. Can I offer you some more meatballs? No thanks, I'm quite full from my earlier helping. How about you? A tempting offer, but we're just about to call it a day. Okay, you're going to watch the big fireworks at the end of the festival? That's the plan. Be sure not to miss it. You haven't seen anything until you see the fireworks. That's what everyone keeps telling me. Because it's true. Anyway, let's get going. Have a good day then. You too. See you later, Jean. And here we are again. Indeed. Did you want to clean out my bathroom cabinet as well or something? Alright. He gave a big sigh. You know how I feel. I guess I just wanted to make the most of this day. Speaking of which, I've never actually seen you without your tie. Well, actually... there it is. How about now? You're pretty cute. You know that? Oh no. Is that a term of endearment, or are you actually serious? I'm totally serious. He looked at me, hesitating. Then he took a step forward, his head slowly moving closer to my own. Oh wow. Is he going for the kiss? Alright, go for it. We met, and my arms enveloped his neck and our lips touched. For a few seconds, we were closer than ever before. During the kiss, he used a lot more tongue than I expected. Just after we parted, he finished by giving me a small lick on the cheek. Okay, how was that? Unique. Maybe I shouldn't wear the tie anymore if this is what happens when I take it off. Actually, I think you should keep it. Really? Yeah, it looks good on you. Okay, if you say so. Anyway, it's getting really late. I should probably get going now. Don't forget about the fireworks, for sure. See you later then. Until we meet again. Thank you for everything.